Familiar name, Bigfoot, with Andy Brass at the helm. And Andy, a lot of people are saying you've completely got this field covered for 1990.
That's right. Ford Bigfoot's been running real well for us. This new chassis has been working real well. And as long as I think I can keep a good level head on my shoulders, we'll be doing real good with the truck.
A lot of people say you have an unfair advantage with the new chassis, but laying all the cards on the table, you were running the smallest engine out here last week. The chassis is the edge.
That's right. You know, we have designed this new chassis. It's been working super for us. And a lot of people don't like it. You know, it's real hard for them to compete with the truck. They're bouncing a lot while we're staying on the ground and moving. The truck, though, it's a lot safer indoors. It's faster indoors. It's more controllable when we're running the indoor shows. So, and I like it myself. It's a lot smoother riding truck than the old trucks. It's easier on the driver. So it's a lot better truck. It's just a lot of the people don't like it because they can't compete with it. And right now, we had to drop down in motor size to give the guys a chance. And I feel pretty confident with it. You know, we did real well last time we was here, and I think we're going to keep doing real well.
Well, last week, Andy Brass did definitely hold a hot hand as the monster trucks went west. The people behind me, they're having their opportunity during the pit party prior to the start of the night's race to come down and to meet their monster truck driver for the first time ever. The Renegade Monsters are west. Chris, you tell us what else we're going to be seeing on today's action-packed show.
Thanks, Army. Coming up here on Tuff Trax, we're going to introduce you to the creator of a very unusual vehicle that travels along with all the monster trucks, that being the Beastron. We're going to tell you about its very special message that it sends to young people all across the U.S. And a little later on here on Tuff Trax, we're going to take you to the beautiful Omni in Atlanta, Georgia, where you're going to see the superstars of super modified two-wheel drive truck pulling. Some of the superstars that are going to be on hand include Ken Lamont and the Midnight Express, Rick Carpenter's Sundance Kid, and Atlanta's own Mike Stowe and Van Dom. Is all coming up right here on Tuff Trax.
Let's look at the Restore Automotive Products monster truck point standings coming into this race. And Bigfoot, despite starting the season late, has just about reeled in the Equalizer. The Auto Value King Krunch, Carolina Crusher, and Awesome Kong round out the top 5. The Gravedigger, hot start. He's been cold lately, but he's still in the top 10. Then it's USA 1, Buffalo Trimmer, Dave Wieczorek with a brand new Nightlife, and the Outlaw Ford still holding on to that number 10 spot. Equalizer has that slim lead over Bigfoot, and there's a lot of pressure on the rookie driver, Greg Holbrook. Andy Brass is already getting the point today because he was fast qualifying. We're going to look at the bye run in the first round for Andy Brass and the Bigfoot Ford.
Got something interesting here. You notice Bigfoot, even though they have a bye run, they still run the truck hard. Look at this, he's going right at the wall, shuts her down. Andy Brass and the Bigfoot boys, 100%ers. Every time they go to the line.
Chris Chapman's going to talk with Andy about that bye run.
Andy, for that to have been a bye run, it looked awful squirrely.
Yeah, it was. You know, it was a bye run, so we wanted to try something new. And it looked like it might have worked a little bit coming us out of the hole, but it was a little, like I say, a little squirrely there at the end.
What'd you try?
Just some stuff.
You not going to share it with us?
No, I'm not.
There you have it. Bigfoot's keeping all the secrets in the Ford camp. When we come back, we'll be watching No Problem battle tough enough in a Ford showdown. Then Carolina Crusher meets another big Chevy, the USA 1 truck. Auto Value King Krunch meets Nightlife. Then Equalizer comes out against Wild Hair. And to round out the first round, Gravedigger and Playin for Keeps. Then Awesome Kong does battle with Clydesdale. Tuff Trax is brought to you by Nintendo, makers of the Nintendo Entertainment System and the world's largest and most exciting library of great games, Nintendo. Now you're playing ourselves, but I have some awful fond memories, I know the rest of the gang does, of Albuquerque, New Mexico, one of the most beautiful areas in the country and great monster truck fans. The drivers getting signed in, they love performing in front of these sold-out crowds going nuts in Albuquerque. As Army, I don't know of any crowd. You know, we have a lot of crowds that are sold out, a lot of places where they're great monster fans, but these folks in Albuquerque, they just came unglued. They were coming off the rafters.
I noticed that too. When we came in the airport, people were looking at us like, hey, you're with the monster trucks, welcome to Albuquerque. It's the furthest west that the TNT tour has been. I think that has a lot to do with it. We're glad to be out west with these folks. They really show their appreciation, and it's a win-win situation. These drivers, they want to put on a good show. TNT people want to put on a good show, and believe me, if you bought a ticket to this one, you're going to see a good show.
Tough Enough and No Problem will get us going in first round side-by-side eliminations. It's a battle of Fords. Pablo Cruz out of Phoenix, Arizona. John Moore and No Problem from Tennessee, Lafayette, Tennessee.
John Moore in the short wheelbase, No Problem, takes the win. Pablo Cruz, Phoenix-based Ford, a little longer wheelbase. That may not be the hot handle this evening.
No Problem looking good in Albuquerque.
Yeah, I tell you, he has got this air figured out. Last week we were talking to a lot of drivers that had problems getting the horsepower dialed into the vehicles. or never had the problem. Speaking of problems, this guy had a heck of them.
It's Steve Wilke in the USA-1 Chevrolet. He has to go up against Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher right out of the chute. The Chevys hook up.
Both of these drivers are up in the points race. Neither one is going to give an inch to the other one. And it is, you know, you can feel the tension. Look at this. Porter, a good little hole shot, and may pay dividends. No, I don't know. I can't tell, Scott.
Tight battle. Now, remember last week, it was Porter losing in the first round, but coming back to make it to the finals. He's going to have to get in on the fast loser rule again this week because Wilke gets the victory in USA-1.
Yeah, but look at a shutout on this race. You talk about some heads-up drivers. Porter has to bail out to the left when he hits the finish line. Wilke knows to spread out the building, pedal to the metal.
Here's Chris with Steve Wilke.
Steve, you came flying out of the pits. Did you think you won or lost that one?
I was on my way up to the video stand. There's a feeling you get inside when you win, and I knew I had a good pass, good straight pass, and I was in the throttle. It was really close, but I was going to see it for myself, and they came out and told me that I had won. That was my gut feeling.
So you thought you had it?
Yeah, it's a feeling, Chris. You know, you really, sometimes it comes down to inches, but you know inside.
Do you have any feelings about the outcome of tonight?
We're going to be out there standing on it, that's all I can tell you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Hey, Scott, he talked about that being a straight run. That was a wrong feeling. It looked awfully crooked to me.
Yeah, that reference to the video stand, though, was that apparently he had the feeling they were going to call him a loser, and he was going to go up and dispute it.
Well, the people that follow the circuit, they know that every run is videotaped. They can go back and replay it. The driver has that option. They did not need to pick up the option that time, but it was there for him had he needed to. Auto Value hooked up with this GMC out of Texas. He's going to be going against one of the strongest, I would say the strongest privateer in the sport out of Nebraska.
Dave Wiechorek's brand new nightlife, all new truck. This is just the second week out for it. He built it from the ground up. He painted it. He drives it. His family comes along with him, and they're a neat story. They go up against Auto Value sponsored King Krunch with Scott Stevens out of Woodlands, Texas.
These guys really do a lot to help each other during the week. However, when they go into the arena, they put on the war paint, and it is a literally battle. We go to this next round. No love lost right now. Stevens, hole shot, left lane. Nightlight trying to come back. Oh, Scott, I don't know. Stevens is in trouble. Has to gas it out of the building.
A wild run by Scott Stevens in the Auto Value King Krunch special. Let's watch it again. Nightlife gets the win. King Krunch takes out the pole that lines up the finish line.
The left side of the left lane is collapsing on these fellas. You remember the previous run. Crusher had the same thing happen to him, but right now, full pedal to bring that truck around.
He didn't jump the line. Nightlife just beat him. Here's Chris Chapman with Scott Stevens.
Scott, a very close race between you and Dave Wieczorek.
Yeah, it was pretty close. I thought I left really good on the line, but I had a lot of problems at the finish line, so just glad to save the truck.
What happened?
I think we got the chassis a little tight tonight. We just experimenting all weekend, and last night we did a right choice. Tonight we went backwards.
So what are you going to do with the King Krunch machine now?
Well, if we get to come back, we're going to loosen it back up and go with the setup we had last night.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Is gone on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge in a nutshell. The defending world champion Equalizer got a little bit of a late start. Gravedigger looked best for the first week or two, but then Equalizer took over. David Morris left the team, and since then Equalizer has struggled. Bigfoot's been reeling him in, and now Greg Holbrook is precariously trying to hold on to a slim point lead. He needs to win over Wild Hair here.
Well, Holbrook, being a rookie driver, is doing what you have to do. He's just spending time in the seat, and Gary Cook will not pressure this young man. He believes in him. He said he's going to come around. He'll come around at his tempo, but when he does come around, he'll be on top of this thing. But who does he draw? The Wild Hair, Hair-Marvin. And hey, the kid is showing his muscle here. Look at this.
You're absolutely right. Gary Cook has given him time, but if it takes him too long, he may be looking at nothing but the tailgate of Bigfoot, as theoretically the foot could take the point lead tonight. However, Equalizer gets a big win here. Let's see what the kid thinks. Here's Army.
Well, Greg Holbrook, I don't believe there's anything in this sport such as beginner's luck. You either have it or you don't, and I believe you're proving right now, son, you definitely have the ability to drive one of these monster trucks. I'm just getting better with every round, learning from every trip. It's just, truck's working real well. Gary's got it set up good. It's just, all you got to do is just get in there and drive. You're getting a lot of confidence, aren't you? You're getting a lot of confidence in your interviews and in driving the truck. You just keep up the good work. We're going to be keeping an eye on you. Good luck in that next round. Okay, thank you, Army.
Greg Holbrook in the World Championship truck. Here's the most popular monster truck in the world, but it is one that is just continuing to have problems. Dennis Anderson is just on a terrible streak of luck with the Gravedigger. He is at the line, and Army, he is on the 5-minute clock. They're trying to get the transmission line fixed. It busted on him, started pouring transmission fluid out. He's getting a lot of help, but the question is, can he make it to the line to race Jesse Birgy and Playin for keeps?
Well, he only has 5 minutes to do that. Birgy says patiently on the line. You see Birgy in the background. When he went to the starting line, the clock started. Track officials right there. The problem is there's a transmission line that leaked. The crew members priming the engine. They're spinning it over. Yeah, he's going to make it. All right, Albuquerque.
Boy, the roof on Tingley Coliseum just raised about 3 feet and then set back down as the Gravedigger fired it up and the fans go bananas. And I'm going to tell you, I don't think Jesse Birgy's real happy, but he's going to have to go ahead and run against the Gravedigger right here. And Birgy's got a truck that's broken, so Dennis Anderson should have a pretty easy time if the Digger will run.
Well, we were talking earlier about how super these fans are out here. They all want to see the Gravedigger. They've seen it on TV and everything. This will be the first time they get a chance to watch this rascal go. Not a real attack run, but he'll be back. He does take, oh no, here we got another problem.
Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger.
They're having trouble shutting them down in this building all of a sudden, Scott.
Anderson gets the win over a broken Playin for keeps and Jesse Birgy. Birgy thought he might get an easy win and a few points, but Digger was able to get it started just before the 5-minute mark was up, and he gets the win. Army Armstrong's with Dennis Anderson.
Ladies and gentlemen, you talk about drama. You can't get any more dramatic than this. Dennis, what happened on the starting line?
We blew a transmission line coming through the door, Army. When I got ready to back over the hill, I lost all my transmission pressure. We had to run, fix the line, fill it back up with fluid, but we made it.
Both red lights stayed on the truck. That was an indication to me there's no doubt in your mind you were going to make it to that round. Is that the way it is?
Yeah, well, you know, Jesse, he was hurt. I knew that if I could get the truck running any kind of way, I had a win going for me. And the truck wasn't hurt. You know, I knew it just blew the line off. That's something minor. So we got her fixed up and we're ready to go.
Tipping the hat to his traveling buddy, Gary Porter of the Carolina Crush, who really hustled out there to help him. You know, these guys tend to be at war with each other all the time, but Porter and Anderson have gotten to where they travel a lot together, and the Crusher and the Gravedigger, kind of independent teams. You talked about privateers. These guys do their own thing, and they kind of help each other out. They're traveling buddies.
Well, you know, they're kind of like the NASCAR guys. You go from one race to the other, you jump in a caravan, you go with the guys. When you get to the racetrack, it's war. Speaking of war, look at this one.
Clydesdale and Awesome Kong. It'll be the Texas Chevrolet Steve Cain's Awesome Kong.
Scott, all of a sudden, everybody's having trouble getting these trucks stopped on this end of the building. Look at this. Both of these drivers do a great job. This building is only so long.
Collins your winner. That wraps up the first round. We'll be coming back to Albuquerque for more monster truck action a little later. But in just a minute, it's super modified two-wheel drive truck pulling from Atlanta. Tuff Trax in the TNT All-American Pulling Series. Checking out the skyline of Atlanta, Georgia. We're in the Omni for super modified two-wheel drive truck pulling. Certainly one of the most popular classes in the sport, and one of the most popular guys in this town. From just up the road in Warrenton, Georgia, former national champion Mike Stowe getting that bad dog Ford ready to do battle. First up, though, we're going to see Mark Hare bring the Jack Daniels Chevrolet out.
You know, we were talking a moment ago, we used a reference from NASCAR. We can relate this team to NASCAR, too. It's a Humco chassis coming out of Ohio, and they're kind of like the Hendricks operation in NASCAR. They run 3 complete trucks on the circuit trying to win this national championship. This truck runs around the sponsorship of Jack Daniels Distillery, driven great by Mark Hare, and he's going to be way shy tonight in Atlanta.
That's the first distance, though, 157.46 for Mark Hare and the Jack Daniels Chevrolet. Mark obviously not happy with that. Kenny Lamont strapping on the gear. He'll be hopping into the Plano Toolbox's Midnight Express to make his attempt as we look at the replay for JD.
Well, you know, the weight box is coming up on him. He just missed the handling characteristics of the vehicle. Now, there's the man that actually built the frame we saw run a minute ago. He'll be making some changes. You can bet that Ken Lamont, as his crew chief walks right in front of the camera, Lamont's on one end trying to pull 180 feet to the other end. That would be a full pull.
Lamont, you can see him strapped in the Plano Toolbox's Midnight Express, one of the most popular vehicles in all of pulling, ready to take it down in front of the crowd at Atlanta's Omni.
You know, this two-wheel drive super class has to be one of the most popular classes we have. These drivers, they have following. People really get behind them. The team here, Chevrolet for horsepower, Plano Toolboxes for a throttle, Lamont gasses and goes.
And that is going to be the distance to beat, set down by Ken Lamont at 168.1. Chris Chapman is standing by with the crew chief, Tom Merck.
Tom, is that more in line to what you're used to seeing Ken Lamont and Midnight Express do?
That's right. That's what we like to see. We like to see it roll out, hook to the ground, pick your front end, and go hard. Made a good pass there. I think it should be good enough to win this one.
Ken Lamont, a 168.10 puts you on top of this thing in hot Atlanta. Can you stay there?
I think so. It's a pretty good run. I had a good shot. It's a real touchy track. You really got to be careful on that throttle. You know, I went in the lead like, what, I go in the lead 10, 12 feet?
I believe that's what we're looking at right now, but there's a lot of guys, as soon as you made your run, everybody started scrambling around, moving their weights around behind you. They're watching you. Now they're coming after you.
I hope I just screwed up their program real good.
Ken Lamont. Army, what about moving the weight around?
Well, what it is, weight is so important. Balance is what this sport is all about. On the front of each vehicle, you see a weight box. They have to weigh 6,200 pounds, but where do you put the weight? That's what the secrets are all about.
The teammate of Jack Daniels, Bill Humphrey, and Spike.
A moment ago, we told you he's the man who's involved in 3 trucks. He looks light to me on the front, but a good distance. 168 when he had the better. Not going to be there. He goes to 157.
He didn't seem to pick anything up from the previous runs, but they have another truck, Sundance Kid. Maybe he'll learn about it.
Remember, Jack Daniels stayed heavy on the nose. Spike was light on the front end. Sundance Kid should be just right if everything goes down properly.
Wayne Roush getting ready to pull. Army's got Bill Humphrey.
Well, Bill Humphrey, you guys came into this Atlanta show with 3 vehicles. The first one came out was too heavy. You come out and look a little bit light. Is the third one going to be just right?
We got 3 different combinations. We're going to try 3 different things. We run this truck a higher gear, a little lighter. Mark tried a lower gear and heavier on the front, trying to drive it farther. Ray just going to blast it.
That's the strategy from Bill Humphrey and the rest of his team. Now Wayne Roush and the unique-looking yellow Model T, beautiful truck and one of the greats in the sport.
Yeah, this Wayne Roush has been one of the most popular drivers in the sport, and I was just thinking it's been quite a while since we've seen him on Tuff Trax with him. He's staying up in the points, but he's not always around the top 5. He's doing a lot of research and development this year, relies on the Chrysler engine to make the horsepower, fiberglass replica, the 23 Ford, Mr. Concentration, Mr. Nice Guy, Wayne Roush out of Dublin, Ohio, working at right side of the track, and he is really light, but look at this.
He's got it. That line was Kenny Lamont passed, easily passed it. The new leader, Wayne Roush, the yellow Model T, at 173.76. So Wayne Roush and the yellow Model T now at the top of the heap as Mike Stowe getting that Bad Dog Ford ready. Wayne Roush's run may make Mike rethink some things. He's checking the track out right now, and he's going to decide where he wants to position that sled to get ready to go after the new lead distance set down by Wayne Roush in the yellow Model T. Back to the pulling a little bit later, but when we come back, Bigfoot and no problem. It's a Ford battle at Albuquerque. Tuff Trax in the TNT Monster Truck Challenge back in Albuquerque, New Mexico's Tingley Coliseum. Getting ready for the round of 8. The quarterfinals are set to do battle in the Coliseum. Chris Chapman is going to let us know who's racing who.
Really no big surprises as we head into quarterfinal competition. It's going to be our 5th qualifier, Bigfoot, taking on John Moore and his Ford Bronco, no problem, in the first pairing. And our next pairing places USA 1 against Nightlife, running very strong here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Our mass loser from first round competition, King Krunch, comes back to face the Equalizer. That should be a very interesting matchup, one you're going to want to be sure and watch. And rounding out the quarterfinal competition is Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger and Awesome Palm. Coming up right here.
But first, it's that advertised Ford Showdown. Bigfoot number 8 and Andy Brass from St. Louis. The no problem Ford Bronco, John Moore out of Lafayette, Tennessee.
You know, you're looking at exactly two opposite ends of the spectrum here. Big money sponsor in the blue truck. Bigfoot, Bob Kenner's operation, a class operation. The privateer out of the volunteer state of Tennessee. A husband, his wife, and their daughter. And they're going head-to-head with Bigfoot. They will not get him tonight. Oh, get close to that wall.
Hey, John Moore let it all hang out, just a length short of Bigfoot. Still a nice run and a strong run by John Moore, no problem.
He pushed Bigfoot. Watch this. Bigfoot had to really take it to the limit. Look at the shutout problem these guys are having out. Bigfoot's nose is over, barely shut this rascal down.
Here they come right at you, two big Fords, and the Bigfoot Ford is the one that gets the job done. Chris Chapman's found John Moore in the pit. And let's go to that conversation now.
With John Moore, the driver of the Ford Bronco, no problem. John, you did not lay down against Bigfoot. A very good time, 4:95.
Yeah, I really tried off this time. I really thought I could have got him this time. I don't know, a little slow there off the light. I thought I run him a good race. I really did. He's not unbeatable. Maybe next time I'll get him.
So John Moore at least thinks Bigfoot can be had, but so far he hasn't been able to do it. USA 1 now out against Nightlife.
Well, a lot of guys think they can beat Bigfoot. They just need about 4 months to build a new truck. It's nothing secret what he has, but they just don't have time to build it and chase these points. Speaking of chasing points, Chevrolet side by side, line of air for Wilke.
Whoa!
Yeah, they're both trying to fit through that door.
Fucking Broncos barely got him shut down. I thought USA 1 was going to launch it right through the roof of Tingley Coliseum. Watch the launch.
Big time air show. TNT Air Force by Hair-Scott.
Nightlife gets the win one more time. Dave Wieczorek and that brand new Nightlife Chevrolet putting away the 1988 World Champion. Here's Army and Dave.
You come out here, run a real strong race. You're still right in the middle of this thing with a brand new truck. It's got to make you feel great.
It does. It feels real good. I'm getting the hang of the truck better and better, and I'm getting used to backing in inside the truck, lining up a lot straighter. And I think once I get going and get the hang of the truck, I'm going to do real well.
Entering the building now, the defending world champion Equalizer to meet the Auto Value King Krunch.
Hey, you know, in that interview, there's something I got to remember to ask that guy. We used to always talk about Wieczorek hanging his head out the window with the new truck. He doesn't do it. He had to change his whole driving style. Back to you, Scott.
King Krunch, the Auto Value sponsored ride, lining up to take on the world champion Equalizer Chevrolet and the new driver, the rookie Greg Holbrook. And anything short of an Equalizer championship here today in Albuquerque will probably put Bigfoot into that #1 spot in the season points. So this is a critical race for the Equalizer, and he did not get off the line well at all.
Boy, not even drilled this kid on the starting line. Well, we're standing at the end of the track, and we're looking for places to run after every race now, Scott.
Auto Value King Krunch gets the win, and that likely will cost Equalizer the World Championship points lead as Equalizer gets hung at the starting line. Scott Stevens is your winner, and he'll be moving in to the round of 4. As you look at it one more time, Army catching up with Scott Stevens.
Scott Stevens, the technicality got you back in the middle of this thing. And there was a lot of question on the first round about you jumping the light. Son, it looks to me like you're just cutting a pro start light in a drag strip. You are cutting that light right down to the nearest thousandth of a second.
Right, Army? Everybody's getting so close now, and that's all we practice on all week at home is on our starts, and it's paid off last week and this week. The starts is where we're winning the races.
When you came on this end of the track, I've been around you a lot of years. I've never seen you this pumped up. Is this going to be the night you get a hold of Bigfoot?
Actually, the things are working just like we wanted. We didn't qualify where we wanted, but we wanted some way to get away from Bigfoot. And coming back as a fast loser was a great way to be away from him to a final. But we got Awesome Kong probably the next round, him or Digger, and they're both going to be tough trucks.
We'll see you in that next round.
Thank you, Army.
Well, Scott Stevens teased the matchup for us. Grave Digger is out to take on Awesome Kong. Dennis Anderson from Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina, and the Grave Digger panel wagon 1950 Chevy version takes on Awesome Kong, that modified Chevrolet truck out of Texas, Playin, Texas, from the Jeff Dane stable. It's Steve Cain.
Everybody knows the story. When you see both of those red lights on the front of the Grave Digger, he's got it on 100% kill. That's what it's going to take to get past this Texas. Boy, the crowd, you know, keep talking about this crowd. These people are pumped. You can feel the electricity as both of these guys go to the line, waiting for a green light. Texas versus North Carolina. Texas, hold shot.
Well, there's nothing. Digger can't even get off the line. Awesome Kong, a wild run. He didn't know Digger wasn't with him, and Cain let it all hang out. But Grave Digger's mechanical problems continue, and Dennis Anderson is left at the starting line. The victory going to Awesome Kong. That brings us to this week's Nintendo Power Play. This week on the Power Play, it's the powerful leap of Steve Cain and Awesome Kong. Yes, indeed. Awesome Kong, the powerful leap at Albuquerque Tingley Coliseum. We'll get one more look at it on the Nintendo Power Play.
Scott, the sport's been around long enough now for everybody to have a reputation. This is one of the bad boys right here.
Power Play is brought to you by Nintendo. Now you're playing with power. The loader is hooked and pulling out Dennis Anderson's Grave Digger. The digger is done for the night, and once again, it's transmission problems. All the fluid is on the floor of the Coliseum. Digger goes off on the hook. Army Armstrong is going to work his way over and talk to the winner of that last round of competition, the guy who gets the victory over the Grave Digger, Steve Cain, the driver of the Awesome Kong Chevrolet. Here's Army right now.
This is the first time that the monster trucks have been this far west, and they're definitely getting their money's worth. Speaking of the money's worth, we're down to a 4-car shootout, or a 4-truck shootout, and you're going to be one of the 4. It looks like you and Scott Stevens are going after each other.
Well, when you run Scott Stevens, you know, you got to go out there and you got to run hard, because I know he's going to, so it's going to be a heck of a race.
You got any problems, or do you think you can beat him, or is it, you know, what's going through your mind right now?
Oh, I believe I can beat him. I beat him before, you know. I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to run that truck as hard as he'll go.
Always the most excitement you can have in one night is in a TNT event. Not just here at Tuff Trax, but go to the arenas and watch the great action live. The Monsters are coming to Pueblo, Colorado, June the 8th and 9th. And on the Figure 8 course at Louisville Motor Speedway, June 9th and 10th. Then they head to Richmond International Raceway, June 15th and 16th. They'll round it out in Bowling Green, Ohio in the month of June. Tuff Trax and two-wheel drive super modified truck pulling from the Omni in Atlanta, Georgia on the TNT All-American Pulling Series. The yellow Model T of Wayne Rouse leading over Ken Lamont's Midnight Express and Bill Humphrey's Spike, but plenty of top dogs still to come, including the bad dog, Mike Stowe, the hometown boy out of Warrenton, Georgia, and Mike wants to take the lead bad.
He wants to take the lead bad. He's got an advantage. He knows the clay. Rouse just bumped the flag 5 feet to go on the lead. Look at this run. You talk about perfect look.
Mike Stowe has the edge. Not a full pull, but just barely short. 177.49. The bad dog has set it up to the #1 spot so far in Atlanta. John Heilman will be coming out next in the Golden Thunder Ford Thunderbird. He's going to have to beat a whale of a pull. That pull came from Mike Stowe, and Army's with Mike right now.
Mike Stowe, you've been playing in this dirt ever since you were a kid. You know how to make the horsepower stick here, don't you?
Well, the M34 is working pretty good, Army. There at one point, I thought I might have been a little light then, but it nosed over, and I didn't have to use the brake but once, and it just kind of had a little fulcrum advantage right there at the end. I think that's what got me across the line.
You got 4 more of these bad boys coming at you. Can you hold on to win this thing?
I don't know, boy. I guarantee you, old Lions is going to be charging hard. He's tough as there is. Of course, the rest of these guys ain't going to cut nobody no slack.
The very versatile John Heilman's going to be next up. The Golden Thunder Ford Thunderbird. Now, Heilman is actually having a better year running his modified tractor, Ohio Gold. He's got a shot to win the points championship on the Winter Series there. He's been running well in the Thunderbird, just not quite as dominant as he's been in the modified tractor.
I think it's just like any kind of racing. You can only be at one place at one time. He has to put a lot of time, energy, and effort into the modified tractor. He doesn't get to put that much time in on this vehicle. Like you say, a good run, but not a great run. He'll finish the top 10, pick him up some bucks with this vehicle.
But the lead distance still belongs to Mike Stowe and the Bad Dog Ford at 177 and change on this 180-foot track. There's the defending champion in this class, Ray Carpenter, the Sundance Kid. Carpenter's brother, Rick, will run it in just a minute. But
and here comes the guy that everybody is afraid of in this class.
Jim Lyons bringing out Stitches. He's in the GMC out of Louisville, Kentucky, and he's ready to see if he can take it out of here.
He's a chassis builder. He's an engine builder. He is an ace driver. I want you to listen to the engine. He's just like a kamikaze pilot. At the 20-foot mark, I guarantee you he'll have it on kill. He'll either go into the lead or hurt something.
All right, as they pull, they're going to tighten him up, take the slack out. Then Army and I and you at home, we're going to listen real close to this engine of Jim Lyons and Stitches. The sound of success. It's a full pull for Jim Lyons and Stitches. Boy, they love it in Atlanta as Jim Lyons gets the job done. He takes it out. Now Carpenter knows he's got work cut out for him as Rick Carpenter is about to come out. But first, Army's going to talk with Lyons about a full pull and the lead in Atlanta.
But the baddest of the bad is going to be coming after you right now. The Sundance Kid, he's the only one left.
Well, you know, we've been there, and we won and we lost, so I'm going to take it out around it comes. But I feel good about the run. We had a great run. It was perfect. Thanks to Reed Kim and Pro Shocks, we've done a super job.
The Sundance Kid was the truck to win it all in 1989, the national champion on the TNT All-American Pulling Series. Now, new driver in it, Rick Carpenter, brother of last year's champ Ray.
Like you said, last year, this was the truck. They only made one change. It was in the seat, the driver's seat. Let's see if it will make that much of a difference. Lyons on top, one-on-one.
No pull-off today, just a little bit short. The Sundance Kid not able to force a pull-off with Jim Lyons, and the Louisville, Kentucky puller will get the win over Carpenter and the Sundance Kid. The final standings from Atlanta, Stitches with the win. Bad Dog, the Ford, Mike Stowe holding on for second. Sundance is third. Then Wayne Roush in the yellow Model T fourth. And Ken Lamont, who's had a rough winter, gets him a solid top 5 in the Midnight Express. In Albuquerque, we're getting ready for the semifinals of the monster truck action, and the kids especially, but the fans in general, being entertained by an appearance from the Beastron, a transforming tank into a robot. Chris Chapman spent some time with the creator of this creation, Willie Towns.
I'm with Willie Towns, the owner-creator of the 23,000-pound attraction of most monster truck shows, that being the Beastron. Willie, where did you come up with such an idea?
TNT gave me a call one day. They wanted something to attract people to the shows and something to fight crime and drugs. So this is what we came up with.
Now, you have a very special message behind the Beastron machine, don't you? Can you share that with us?
Yeah, crushing drugs and crushing crime and teaching the kids if they have any dreams that if they work hard enough for them, they can make them come true.
Do you feel like that the kids really relate to Beastron's message?
Yeah, so far we've been getting a real good reaction from all the kids. They love it.
And do you plan on taking Beastron around the country with the rest of the monster truck shows?
Yep, sure do. It's booked solid right now. We're going to keep on booking it.
The message also being carried by the TNT monster trucks, all of them carrying that banner, just say no to drugs on their trucks. Welcome back to Tuff Trax as the Tingley Coliseum is rocking and rolling. Here's Chris Chapman with the semifinal pairing.
If you like monster truck racing and you like very close monster truck racing, if you don't want to miss this semifinal round, look at this. It's going to be Andy Brass and the Bigfoot machine going head-to-head against Dave Wieczorek in Nightlife. You spoke with Dave earlier. He thinks he can beat him. We're going to find out in just a minute. Rounding out the semifinals, it's going to be a very strong running Scott Stevens and King Krunch and the awesome Pong machine driven by Steve Cain. It's all coming up next here on Tuff Trax.
Bigfoot getting ready to do battle with Nightlife. Now, earlier, you heard Andy Brass say he's got a secret plan out here. It looks like that Bigfoot is rolling over the hill very easily, then hammering the throttle. We asked Dave Wieczorek just a moment ago if he thinks that's true.
I think it might be. I think he's taking a little bit soft off the hill and taking off on the downside, which is really putting his time real fast. So that's kind of the strategy I've been using all night, and maybe it'll work out for the best. I hope it'll work out better for me.
Dave Wieczorek in that brand new nightlife. Maybe he's got Bigfoot's number. Nobody's had it in recent weeks. We'll find out right here. It's the semifinals. The winner goes to the Monsters match.
Scott's going to be Ford Chevrolet. The people on their feet. We're getting the winner here. Goes to the finals. Roll on the start line. Gas on the start line. Punch it at the jump. What's going to be the right combination? Everybody's watching Brad as he goes into the lane. Rolls up. Stages that big Ford. The Chevrolet's ready to go. We look for a green light in Albuquerque.
TNT starter Tracy Smart giving them both a look, making them wait a little bit at the line. Now he's checking. Watch for the green. There they go. Bigfoot and Nightlight.
Both drivers getting on the start line. Grand.
Bigfoot.
Again. All right, Scott, they're scaring me to death on this end of the track.
Barely getting it stopped. Bob Chandler's revolutionary Bigfoot number 8 gets the victory, and he really picked him up and laid him down. And again, you can tell how radical that suspension is by the way he stopped. The suspension, the body really just seems to lay down on the suspension when he puts those brakes on.
You have a preference as far as which truck you want to run? Awesome Kong, and you put on some battles. But this King Krunch truck's been bad-mouthing you a whole lot. Do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like to run Kong, you know. I've been with Kong a lot, you know. I like to see Krunch get knocked out early, you know, get the points down on him. From what I can understand right now, we're leading in the points, so I'm trying to keep the other guys down as far as we can.
Boy, you got that one right. Not a whole bunch of love lost right there between Andy Brass and Bigfoot and the Auto Value King Krunch of Scott Stevens. Stevens about to take on Awesome Kong. But before we get to that race, let's have a little fun because it is time for the Krunch of the Week.
Hold on to your seats for the amazing Krunch of the Week, brought to you by Micro Machines, the #1 colossally collectible vehicles in the world. If it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the real thing.
The Krunch of the Week takes us back to Memphis, Tennessee a few months ago. Scott Stevens and King Krunch, and watch the wheels tuck in, and this thing virtually disintegrated. Just a horrific run for Scott Stevens, and you can see not much left in front of the driver's portion. Watching it from inside with Scott Stevens, you get a real feel for what it's like to be on the Krunch of the Week. Scott says, I'm okay up here, but the truck was not. Well, it's a lot better now for the Auto Value King Krunch. They've got her put back together, running strong. He lost in the first round, but came back as the fast loser, and now we'll try to knock Awesome Kong off for a shot at Bigfoot in the Monster Smash Final.
We're keeping an eye on two people right now. We're watching the Auto Value GMC of Stevens, but also Kevin Ford, his crew chief, is giving him information, and I'm watching Kevin. He's constantly talking to Scott. It's amazing what's going on right now. They definitely are they're going to pull everything they can out of this hand. They go against Bigfoot in the final. They want Bigfoot in the worst way, but in order to get to that Ford, they got to get past the second Chevrolet. They're going to be there, Scott.
Man, oh man, by inches. It is Scott Stevens. You can see in the cab how excited he is. He knows he got the win. It wasn't by much, but just enough.
Watch the driver reaction when he comes down into this shutoff area. He is pumped up. He's going after the foot.
We're going to look at it from the end zone and watch how close these two trucks came to colliding. But the winner, Scott Stevens and King Krunch.
Well, right now, we've got a scoop. We just found out that you guys are not going to be able to come back and go 100%. Is that the word, Scott?
Yeah, Army, you know, we hate to say it, but, you know, Auto Value Parts Store Special, we're racing for the World Championship, so we're going to come back to the final round for the points, but the new suspension we tried is working great, but all the 4-link bars broke off in that semifinal round against Austin, so, you know, we're just going to have to come back and go easy just to get the points.
Kevin, you guys have been thrashing all year long to get the right combination. It looks like the combination is there. Is this going to take any of the intensity away from you fellas, or do you still believe you can win this World Championship?
No, we can still do it. This is just a minor setback right now. Once we get this problem fixed, we're going to come back at it.
Said before the break that his truck is broken and he's just going to the finals for points. A moment ago, Chris Chapman talked to a skeptical Andy Brass as he prepared to bring Bigfoot into Dingley Coliseum.
Andy Brass, I don't know if this is good news or bad news for you. Scott Stevens, driver of King Krunch, it looks like he's broken the suspension and the 4 links underneath. He's not going to be able to run as good as he normally would.
Well, I ain't got time to go in and look at his truck, but this could be one of Scott's tricks. You know, Scott's good for this kind of stuff, telling people he's broke. And then the other guy going in not running hard, because Scott and I have both had some pretty good times tonight, and that's all it's going to take is for me to slack off a little bit thinking he's busted, but I'm going to go out and run as hard as I can.
It's all about the Monster Smash Final. We know the auto value King Krunch is not going to run a full shot. He's broken. He's just coming out there for points. So, Army, why is he messing around? Why won't he get to the line?
It's the same reason you call timeout in a basketball game. You want Andy Brass to think about what he's going to do. He's trying to chill him out. Brass has been around a long time. Let's listen to the conversation.
These two guys just don't like each other is the bottom line here. And that conversation with King Krunch is probably just, let's keep messing with Andy Brass.
Be cool.
Bigfoot's going to hammer it, though. You can be sure of that. The radio conversation you hear is from the King Krunch truck. Bigfoot's just going to have one conversation. That's with the throttle, and it's going to be full tilt. All right, now Andy Stage.
Andy Brass, I don't think you're going to rattle this guy. If he'd been born 150 years ago, he'd have been a gunfighter. He's that cool, calm, collected. Stevens will not rattle a Bigfoot driver tonight, I don't believe.
And the Bigfoot 8 really would like to hammer the auto value King Krunch. Stevens has really been complaining about the truck, and Andy Brass and Bigfoot are going to show him something right there. Oh, look out, Andy!
Hey, hello, Albuquerque!
He took nothing off and almost joined him in the front row. Wow-wee, but Andy Brass has done it, and he is taking over the season point lead in that Bigfoot Ford.
Bigfoot goes to the point lead with a 319 Equalizer right behind him at an 08. Texas King Krunch sets number 3. Awesome Kong also from Texas number 4. And the Carolina Crusher the top 5. Gravedigger stays 6. USA 17. Buffalo Trimmer, Nightlife, and the Outlaw. Let's go to Scott for a wrap-up.
That wraps up an awesome 2 weeks of action with the TNT Monster Truck Challenge in the Tingley Coliseum at Albuquerque, New Mexico. Lots of stories, but the big one was Bigfoot. He takes over the points lead with 2 big wins. But can he hold it? Can he make it 3 in a row? If he does, it'll be on the wildest course ever. Next week, here on Tuff Trax, for the first time ever in Dallas, Texas, 3 monster trucks at a time, side by side. You can't miss it. Next week, here on Tuff Trax.